Good morning, students. I am Srimati V.V. Ramalakshmi, Senior Lecturer in Civil Engineering from Government Polytechnic, Vikarabad. And we have been discussing on the subject of hydraulics. The subject code is 18C 404C. And we were in the topic properties of fluids. Today's subtopic is going to be problems on properties of fluids. The duration of the class is going to be 50 minutes and I'm going to teach you with the help of some sketches and photographs. So students, in the previous class we have been discussing about the various properties of the fluids, capillarity, viscosity. So I asked you to review all the topics and try solving a few more problems. And now I shall continue solving some more problems on the properties of fluids. So write down the problem. The space between two parallel plates is filled with oil. Each side of the plate is 60 centimeters. The thickness of the oil film is 12.5 mm. The upper plate, which moves at 2.5 meters per second, requires a force of 98 newtons to maintain the speed. So this is the problem. So we have to find out the dynamic viscosity and the kinematic viscosity. And if the specific gravity of the oil is given as 0.95. So students, have you all taken down the problem? So let us try solving it. So first of all, for any problem, as I told you, you're supposed to write down the given data, the data from the question which is given to you. So study it twice and try to write down your inferences. So firstly, what is given? The area of the plate is 0.6 by 0.6 meters. That means 60 centimeters comes to 0.6 meters. So the area is going to be 0.36 meters square. Then the thickness of the oil dt is 12.5 mm. Then the change in the velocity dv is going to be 2.5 meter per second as given in the problem. Then the force required on the upper plate, capital F, is 98 newtons. Then coming to the shear stress is, as per the definition of any stress, stress is equal to force into area. Sorry, force by area. So force will be stress into area. So shear stress is the shear force which is given by the cross-sectional area over which it is going to act. So 98 by 0.36. So you get a value of 272.22 newtons per meter square. Then as per the Newton's law of viscosity or the Newton's equation of viscosity, the shear stress is related to the dynamic viscosity and the velocity gradient. We have seen while we were discussing about the viscosity. So now you want the dynamic viscosity of the oil. So it is tau by dv by dy because tau is equal to mu into dv by vi, which is the velocity gradient, that is change in velocity by change in the thickness. So instead of dy you put dt. So let us try substituting the values. So tau is as calculated 272.22 and the change and the velocity is 2.5 meter per second and dy is 12.5 into 10 to the power of minus 3. So this is the thickness of the plate. So calculating the value, we get the value of the mu is equal to 1.361 Newton second per meter square. So now coming to the kinematic viscosity of the oil, nu is equal to mu by rho. This is the relationship between the three terms. So now try substituting after finding out the dynamic viscosity, divide it with the density to get the kinematic viscosity. So now in order to get the density, that means the mass density of the oil. So this is the specific gravity of the oil. So specific gravity is 0.95 into Wg. So W into G by rho. So you get a value of, this is specific gravity, S into rho, W into S by G. So this is what is the relationship between the mass density and all these terms. So you get a value of 950 kg per meters cube after substituting for all these. Now substitute in this equation for kinematic viscosity. So just now we have calculated the dynamic viscosity, which is 1.361, divided with the mass density of the oil 950. You get a value of 1.43 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter square per second. So just go home and verify all these values which have been given to you. So this way we have to solve problems on shear stress and viscosity. So let us see another problem on capillary rise. So students, take down another question. Estimate the capillary rise of a depression capillary rise or depression in a tube of 3 mm dia when the tube is immersed in water. A bit is water, B bit is mercury. The surface of the water and mercury are at 20 degrees centigrade are surface tension of water and mercury at 20 degrees centigrade are 0.075 Newton per meter and 0.52 Newton per meter respectively. So students, read the problem once more and let us try to solve it. So write down the solution. So let us first write down the given data. So capillary rise or depression is given by an expression which we derived in the previous class. So 4 sigma cos theta by WD. Now in the case of water you have capillary rise. In the case of mercury you have capillary fall or depression. So 4 sigma cos theta, so the cos of 0 degrees and then by W D. D is the diameter of the tube, 3 into 10 to the power of minus 3. So this is equal to 0.0102, that means 10.2 mm. So that much will be the capillary rise in the water. Now coming to the depression, in the case of mercury, suppose the same tube is inserted in mercury, what will be the capillary fall? So 4 sigma, the surface tension for mercury is given as 0.52 into cos of 130 degrees and then into W into G, because the specific gravity of the mercury is 13.6 into 9.81 into the diameter is 3 into 10 to the power of minus 3. So coming out, you have, because it is cos 130, cos 90 plus theta, or cos 150 minus theta. So that way you will have a negative value, that is minus 3.34 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meters, or 3.34 mm. So because it is capillary fall, you get a negative sign. So that is the indication. For rise, you don't get any sign. If there is no sign, it is understood that it is a positive sign. Now, coming to the closure of the properties of liquid, the first unit. So in this session, we have learnt about capillarity, dynamic viscosity, kinematic viscosity, and vapor pressure, and problems. We have solved simple problems on all these things in the previous class, and we have continued and then found out the problems on solved problems on viscosity and surface tension and capillary rise and fall also. So let us see, let us try to solve some quiz problems which are based on the properties of fluids. So the capillary depression in mercury is on account of, option A is adhesion being greater than cohesion. Next, surface tension being greater than viscosity. Then cohesion being greater than adhesion. And last is none of the above. So what is the answer, students? The capillary depression, that means for mercury, why does the level come down? Because of the cohesion between the particles is greater than the adhesion. So C is the right answer, and it has been highlighted in red color. So remember, this is the reason. Next, capillary rise or fall in a tube is dependent upon, it is directly proportional to the diameter, directly proportional to the surface tension, inversely proportional to the diameter, inversely proportional to the surface tension. So in the expression for the capillary rise or fall, we see that H is equal to 4 sigma cos theta by WD. So directly proportional to the diameter, this is ruled out because it is going to come in the denominator. So directly proportional to the surface tension, this is correct. And it is inversely proportional to the diameter. So 4 sigma cos theta by WD. So this is also correct, inversely proportional. Then inversely proportional to the surface tension, this is ruled out. So these two answers are correct. So let us see the answer. Both B and C is the last option. So the option is B and C as per the formula which we have seen. So the answer is both B and C. Right. Next, viscosity of the liquids. This property is associated with the shear stress. Decreases with increase in the fluid temperature. Increases with increase in the fluid temperature. Does not change with the fluid temperature. Depends only on the pressure. So the viscosity, as I told you, when viscosity means it depends upon the thickness of the liquids. So oil is thick, lubricant oils are more viscous. Then compared to the honey and other things, petrol, all these things you will be seeing the different liquids. When you feel or touch it, you will feel it is very sticky. That means it is very viscous. And then the molecules are closely packed. So what happens when the viscosity, when temperature is applied? So it increases with the increase in the fluid temperature. So this is not correct. So the viscosity comes down or decreases with the increase in the fluid temperature. So this option is correct. So other things are all ruled out. It does not change. This is not correct and depends only on the pressure. This is not correct. The first option is correct. Let us check the answer. So this is the right answer. The color has changed. So the molecules get scattered and the viscosity comes down when you apply more temperature. Then coming over to the kinematic viscosity is equal to dynamic viscosity by surface tension of the fluids, dynamic viscosity by compressibility of the fluids, dynamic viscosity by mass density of the fluids. Then last option is dynamic density of the fluid by dynamic viscosity. So what is the correct option? So dynamic viscosity by mass density, that means mu by rho. That is what was the formula which we have seen. So all these other things are all ruled out. So C is the correct option. Let us check up. So this is the correct option, students. And next, the ideal fluid is the one in which is the one which is compressible, which has negligible surface tension, has low density, is non-viscous and incompressible. So practically any fluid, it is non-viscous means it is not possible and incompressibility is also not possible. So any fluid, is it compressible or is it possible to have negligible surface tension? No. So low density possibility is there. So ideal fluid means it is practically not possible. So it is non-viscous and incompressible. So these two options are not possible. That is why ideal fluid is a concept which is imaginary, which is not practically possible. Right. So this is the right answer. Then vapor pressure of water is due to the pressure of flow, the molecules of liquid which hang over the free surface, the pressure of the air above the free surface, and none of the above. So the pressure, the vapor pressure, as we have discussed about when we were seeing about this property, the molecules of the liquid which hang over the free surface. So this is the right answer. Then coming to the next question, the following liquid has vapor pressure: water, mercury, petrol, none of the above. So when heat is applied, so which liquid is going to get converted into vapor and have the pressure of it? So it is having high, the following liquid has high vapor pressure is petrol. That is why openly we should not keep petrol, and because of that, if it is inflammable, but it easily catches fire and it easily evaporates. That is why you don't take petrol in the loose condition or in the open condition. Usually we will be seeing some people taking petrol in a bottle also, but it is actually a bit risky and dangerous also. So that should not be allowed. So when any vehicle fails or comes down, and suddenly when there is no petrol, so people go to the nearest petrol bunk and try to get a bottle of petrol and put it and then try to start it. But it is not actually allowed. But under unavoidable circumstances, we resort to such things. That means buying loose petrol. Usually petrol is directly put into the tank because it has got high vapor pressure. When it is exposed to the atmosphere, it will just evaporate. So that is why we have to carefully handle this liquid. And the following liquid has low vapor pressure, water, mercury, kerosene, benzene. So it is mercury because it has low vapor pressure. It is used for measuring the measuring inside the thermometers and other places. And our manometers and all the pressure measuring equipment you use mercury because it is a heavy liquid and low vapor pressure. Then intensity inside a soap bubble is given by P is equal to 2 sigma by D, P is equal to 4 sigma by D, P is equal to 8 sigma by D, and then P is equal to 3 sigma by D. So pressure inside a droplet, droplets is given by. So droplets, it is a small one. So it is 4 sigma by D. So in yesterday's class, we have discussed and seen about this different pressures within the soap bubble, droplet of water, etc. Then coming into the pressure intensity inside a soap bubble is given by 2 sigma by D, 4 sigma by D, 8 sigma by D and 3 sigma by D. So the answer is 8 sigma by D because as I told you, it is double of the normal droplet because you have one inner surface and one outer surface, very thin surface exists for the soap bubble. Then the capillary rise or fall when a tube is immersed in a liquid is given by 2 sigma cos theta by WD, 3 sigma cos theta by WD, 4 sigma cos theta by WD and 5 sigma cos theta by WD. So the answer is expression which we derived is 4 sigma cos theta by WD. So C is the correct option. So look here, it has been highlighted. Then, so we have finished with the chapter of properties of fluids and now we are going to move into the next unit, that is the fluid pressure and its measurement. So here we have some pressure which is going to be measured. The fluid pressure has to be measured. So the objectives of this subject is we have to understand what is pressure, what is the fluid, what is atmospheric pressure, what is gauge pressure, then what is absolute pressure. Then coming to the fluid pressure, it is the fluids such as water and oil, they are going to exert pressure on all surfaces of the container. So students, do you remember the Pascal's law in which we have studied that a fluid particle is going to exert pressure in all the directions, equal pressure in all the directions. So here top, bottom, side, everywhere you have pressure exerted. So look at this sketch, a container containing water and then take a water particle and it is subjected to pressure from the top, from this side, from this side, from the bottom and from the right to left. So see, it is being pressurized, being inside the water. So it is pressurized from all the directions. So look here, so this is the surface, top surface. Then coming to the intensity of pressure. So how much is the intensity? So the normal force exerted on unit surface area is called intensity of pressure. It is also called as specific pressure or fluid static pressure because the intensity of pressure it is given by force by the normal force divided by the area over which it is going to act. So the SI unit of pressure is, the unit for force is Newton, the unit for area is meter square. So kilonewtons per meter square. Then it is Pascal. A term called Pascal is given by PA. So 1 Pascal is equal to 1 Newton per meter square. Then the other unit for pressure is bar. It is 100 kilonewtons per meter square. So the relationship between intensity of pressure and pressure head. So look here, you have a vessel containing water or any liquid, and this is the depth of the liquid, and this is the acceleration due to gravity, and Z is the datum head. So P atmosphere is the atmospheric pressure, P ATM. So whatever pressure atmosphere exerts on open surfaces. So usually you have some open channels which are subjected to open atmospheric pressure. So that is the open pressure. So here you have, look here, P, this is all the water. Inside the water you have all the different molecules, and this is the depth of the water. So at the surface it is 0, and as you go to the bottom it is WH. So P is equal to specific weight of the water into the depth of the water. So now the small w is equal to this specific weight. Specific weight, as we have discussed in the previous classes, it's a property of a fluid which is given by the weight per unit volume. So you have the weight is equal to, capital W is equal to specific weight into volume. So when it comes to the volume, so it is area of cross section into the height. So the volume of water contained in a particular container. So it is area into height. So now the P is equal to W. That means the pressure force is the pressure which is applied should be equal to the weight of the water. So now equating P is equal to W, small w AH. That means, so small p is equal to capital P by A. That means the intensity of pressure is equal to total pressure applied in a particular area. So try to substitute for the weight of the water, and you have WAH divided by A. So here the area gets cancelled from the numerator and the denominator, and you have P is equal to WH. So this is the relationship between the intensity of pressure and the pressure head. So this is a very important relationship. So try to keep a mark and try to put it inside the box. So P is directly proportional to H. That means pressure intensity is directly proportional to the depth from the top. Then the pressure head. So what is this pressure head? The pressure head at any point is defined as the vertical depth of the liquid from the free surface, or it is also defined as the ratio between the intensity of pressure and the specific weight. So the pressure at any point is directly proportional to the pressure head. That means P is equal to WH. Then coming over to the pressure diagram, the graphical representation of the variation of the intensity of pressure along the depth of the fluid is known as pressure diagram. So how it is going to vary? It is given by the pressure diagram. So generally the pressure diagram shape is triangle with 0 at the top and maximum at the base. So here it is a triangular or a straight line variation. So here the pressure is being applied to the side of the container, and at the top it is 0 because you don't have any depth. So H is 0, P is also 0. When H is maximum, it is WH. So now the free surface of the liquid is given by the liquid, the surface in which the surface that is in contact with the atmospheric air causes pressure on the surface of the liquid. That is what is our atmospheric pressure. That means on the free surface of the liquid only atmospheric pressure will be acting. So the units for the pressure head are, it is expressed in meters of the liquid. Example, m of water or m of oil. Then atmospheric pressure, barometric pressure, the pressure exerted by the atmospheric air because of its own weight on the surfaces with which it comes into contact is called as atmospheric pressure. So that means the pressure which is created or which is developed by the atmospheric air. So air exists everywhere as we all know, and that pressure which is exposed. So the water, it is exposed openly in the open channel, in the dam or a reservoir. So where it is openly, that means when the top is not closed, it is open to the atmosphere. So then atmospheric pressure only will be acting over the surface which is in contact. Then it is measured by a barometer. You must have studied in your school days. What is this barometer? So it's a pressure measuring gauge, and particularly it is going to measure the atmospheric pressure. Because it is measured by a barometer, it is also called as barometric pressure. So done. It is also called as barometric pressure. Then the standard values of atmospheric pressure are, because it is fixed, we have 1.034 kg force per centimeter square or 10.34 meters of water. That means 10.34 meters of column of water, or it is equivalent to 0.104 newtons per mm square. So the last option is, it is equivalent to a pressure of 76 centimeters or 760 mm of Hg, that is mercury. So these all are equivalent values which are going to represent the atmospheric pressure. So wherever the situation demands that particular value, we are going to use it in our problems. So all these are going to represent the atmospheric pressure or the barometric pressure. So then the last one is, instead of 0.104 Newton per mm square, you have 101.4 kilonewtons per meter square. So all these values commit to your memory. So whenever the situation demands, you take, depending upon the units, you try to take and substitute that particular value. So now coming to the gauge pressure, the pressure which is positive. So it is the positive pressure measured by using the pressure measuring device in which atmospheric pressure, it is taken as the datum. So the gauge pressure is measured above the atmospheric pressure. So gauge pressure is something which is measured with the help of a gauge, as the name is indicating. Some gauge. Gauge means gauging means measuring. So gauge pressure means something which can be taken with the help of a, which can be measured by using a pressure measuring device. So students, Next is the vacuum pressure. So in gauge pressure, you have positive pressure and negative pressure. So this negative pressure is called as vacuum pressure. So it is the negative pressure measured below the atmospheric pressure by using the pressure measuring device. So here it is the pressure measuring measured below the atmospheric pressure. So the vacuum pressure is something which is measured below the atmospheric pressure. Now the last one is the absolute pressure. So the P absolute is equal to the relationship, let us see, atmospheric pressure minus vacuum pressure or gauge pressure, or atmospheric pressure plus positive gauge pressure. So we can just put these two equations together and put a plus or minus option. So here P absolute is equal to P ATM minus BP or P ATM plus GD. GP. So this is the vacuum pressure. This is the gauge pressure, means it always indicates positive gauge. If it is negative, automatically it is vacuum. So that is the equation. So the only instrument used to find out the absolute pressure at a particular point is the aneroid barometer. Then coming to the pressure measuring systems. So pressure measuring systems are here. Look at this sketch. So this is going to give you in detail about the pressure measuring systems. So see here, this is the basic datum which is showing the absolute zero, and here this is the atmospheric pressure. So the difference between these two is 76 centimeters of Hg. Then coming to the local atmospheric pressure or zero of the gauge. So this is going to be local barometer reading. That means whatever the barometer reads is being shown by the gauge. So this is above the zero of the gauge pressure, you have the positive pressure, and then below the zero you have the negative pressure. So this is what is the sketch which is going to show you the different systems and the relationships. So when you want the total or the absolute pressure, you will add the atmospheric or the local pressure, and you add the gauge pressure to it, or if you want, you will subtract the negative gauge pressure. So look here, this is the total absolute pressure and this is the absolute pressure. So the local atmospheric pressure is the datum. So if you want the standard atmospheric pressure, you will add the positive gauge pressure, and if you want the negative gauge pressure, you will subtract. So this is absolute pressures in both the cases. So remember the relationship. So absolute is equal to atmospheric plus or minus gauge. So now the summary of today's class is the intensity pressure P is equal to WH, then absolute pressure is equal to atmospheric plus gauge pressure, then absolute pressure is equal to atmospheric minus gauge pressure or negative gauge pressure, or it is also called the vacuum pressure. Then atmospheric pressure is 10.33 meters of water. And also let us see the quiz and some short questions. A bucket full of water has one hole at the bottom and one hole at the top. So look here. So from which hole is it going to drain more fast? So look here. So through which hole water flows faster? So the hole one is a One hole you have at the top from which a pipe is inserted, and the water can be made to come down once this hole is let out. And you have made another hole at the bottom of the bucket. So from which hole is it going to come more faster? See here, because the pipe which is been inserted at a hole which is nearly to the top surface, maybe 1 or 2 centimeters below. So once this depth is finished, there is no pressure or there is no flow of water. So, but in the case of the bottom hole, what happens is the entire water pressure is there on this part of the hole. So compared to this position, this whole position is more critical. So definitely water will be gushing out of this hole or running more faster. So this is a logical question. So the answer is through the hole from the bottom due to high pressure due to the greater depth. So when the depth is more, the pressure is also more as per the P is equal to WH, because the pressure depends only on the depth and nothing else. P is equal to WH. W is the specific weight of the liquid into the depth of the liquid. Then convert an intensity of pressure. So let us see some problems. Convert an intensity of pressure of 1 Newton per mm square into a pressure head of meter of water. Specific weight of water is 10 kilonewtons per meter cube. So P is equal to WH. So the intensity of pressure is 1 Newton per mm square, that is 1 into 10 to the power of 6 newtons per meter square, because when it comes to 1 mm is 1 by thousandth of a meter. So when you divide it with 1000 by 1000, that is 10 to the power of 3 into 10 to the power of 3. So if you multiply 10 to the power of 3 plus 3, that is 10 to the power of 6. So here when you get converted, so this is the equivalent pressure. This is how we have to convert. So 1, because it is in the denominator, so 10 to the power of 6 goes along with the newtons per meter square. So now P is equal to WH. So you want H, the intensity, we have to convert it into meters of water. So H is equal to P by W, that is we have to substitute 1 into 10 to the power of 6 by 10 into 10 to the power of 3. So that comes to 100 meters of water. So this is how the equivalent pressure is getting converted. So if the specific weight of water is 9.81 kilonewtons per meter cube, the pressure head equivalent to 1 Newton per mm square is equal to almost 101.4 meter of water. So 100 and 101, it is almost similar. So nearby values all are valid. So next question. Convert an intensity of pressure of 0.982 newtons per mm square into a pressure head in meters of water. So specific weight of water is 9.81 kilonewtons per meter square. So H is equal to P by W, because P is equal to WH. That is our basic equation. So the intensity of pressure is 1.982 into 10 to the power of 6, because here you have this in meter square and this is in mm square. So you are trying to convert it in newtons per meter square. So multiplying it with 10 to the power of 6. So divided by 9.81 into 10 to the power of 3. So you get a value of 202.04 meters of water. So the formula is P is equal to WH. It is called the Stevens formula. Then convert a pressure head of 4 meters of water into equivalent of kerosene. Now The specific weight of both these liquids are different. So S1H1 is equal to S2H2. That means the specific gravities. So P is equal to WH, W1H1 or W2H2. So the specific weight of the specific gravity of water is 1 gram per cc, and then the head of water is 4, and then the next liquid is for kerosene, it is given as zero point 0.8 and H2. So H2 is equal to 4 by 0.8, that is 5 meters of kerosene. So just look, because it is having different specific gravity, you require more column. So observe here. Then convert a pressure head of 27.2 meters of water into equivalent in meters of mercury. So S1H1 is equal to S2H2. So 1 into 27.2 is equal to 13.6 into H2. So H2 is equal to 27.2 by 13.6, that is 2 meters of mercury. Because mercury is a heavy liquid, you require only small height of the liquid. So this is how we are going to solve the problems given in the particular area. So frequently asked questions in this chapter is, explain about atmospheric pressure and standard values of the atmospheric pressure. Second question, state the relationship between atmospheric pressure, gauge pressure and vacuum pressure. So students, we have finished discussion on the basics of pressure measuring, and then we have seen the different types of pressures, and we have seen the relationship between the three types of pressures, that is the atmospheric pressure, the gauge pressure and the vacuum pressure. So students, try to do a few more problems in this area for your practice. Till then, goodbye, and let me see you in your next class. I will continue the discussion on pressure measuring instruments. So till then, keep practicing and reviewing whatever has been discussed and taught to you in this session. So keep in touch with your subject. So regularly, whatever is being taught, if you are just reviewing after going back home and doing a few more exercise problems, you will develop confidence in attempting the problems, and you will do your problems with more accuracy